Most car enthusiasts are familiar with the concept of restoring a car. However, not nearly as many understand what goes into an OE Concours restoration. Restoration is defined as the act of returning something to a prior condition, and while shiny, flawless paint and polished new components on a 1970s muscle car certainly impress, they generally don't represent how the car left the factory when it was new. The exacting detail required of an OE Concours restoration makes them profoundly difficult to pull off correctly. The 1970 Plymouth AAR Cuda you see here is equipped with a 340 cubic inch 6-barrel V8 engine and an A833 4-speed manual transmission. This car has been finished to a level that few cars ever will be. The work was undertaken across several years by Mauro Brocca, Jeff Cabot, and his team in Ontario, Canada. The restorers start by spending hours studying survivor cars. Now these are unrestored cars that still wear their original paint and parts from the assembly line. Only 2,724 AAR Cudas were ever built, making them exceedingly rare and valuable today. However, in 1970, cars like these were often used as daily transportation, and the care, or lack of it, put into the fit and finish by the workers at the Hamtramck, Michigan assembly plant reflected that. Hastily put together and hustled down an assembly line, these cars often rolled into dealerships with blemishes like drips and runs in the finish in the engine bay or thin, barely there coats of paint on the lower quarter panels. These can and have been documented on survivor cars and have been replicated in this Cuda's OE restoration to make it like it was when it was new, blemishes and all. This car has been painted and assembled as if it had come down the factory line in 1970. That means the body was painted with single-stage acrylic enamel for the FE5 Rally Red, and a now discontinued textured lacquer-based paint called Organosol was used for the blacked-out parts like the hood, perfectly replicating the factory finishes. It also means that the enamel was applied in one go by two painters, one on the driver's side and one on the passenger side, just as it would have on the assembly line. This leads to a finish which is slightly different from left to right like an original AAR Cuda would wear. Painstaking efforts have been made to replicate the details that you won't even see on the finished car. If you remove the interior panels, you'd find factory correct looking spot welds. If you lifted up the carpet, you'd see pools of primer in the floor pan as if the car had gone through a water-based primer dip tank. Subtle details like these are only found on unrestored vehicles, or, in this very special case, the 1970 Plymouth AAR Cuda you're looking at today. Aside from an original car, it doesn't get any closer to how it came off the factory than this.